Many fantastic wine regions in Spain, including Rioja Oriental, Sierra de Gredos or Priorat, produce high-quality Garnacha-based wines. However, there is one more region that definitely deserves your attention, which is Campo de Borja, also known as the Empire of Garnacha. Before we start, many thanks to ISEX and the Regulatory Council of Campo de Borja for helping me with this video. And if you're watching my channel for the first time, please consider to subscribe. Denomination de Origen Campo de Borja was established in 1980. However, the wines has been produced in this area since 1203. Campo de Borja is located in the province of Aragon in northern Spain. Apart from Campo de Borja, Aragon contains 3 other Denomination de Origen, including Calatayud, Carinena and Somontano. By the way, Somontano means under the mountains. The capital of Aragon is beautiful and historic city of Zaragoza. The city of Zaragoza is definitely worth to visit, especially if you like history and also modern architecture. However, the food and wine in the Zaragoza is something that you cannot miss. I highly recommend to stop by El Tubo area, which is a homeland of tapas and wine bar in the downtown of this beautiful city. The climate of Campo de Borja is definitely continental with some Atlantic influence during the winter time. Summers are long and very hot, and this area is very well known from the windy conditions, which really helps to protect the vines from the funguses and diseases. However, the local wind called Cierzo can also damage the vines. By the way, if you're planning to visit Campo de Borja, I highly recommend to have head covering. Campo de Borja region is divided into 3 sub-regions according to the elevation of the vineyards. Zona Baja is situated at the altitude between 300 to 450 meters above the sea level. This area is full of limestone soil and wine showing aromas of ripe and red fruits. Zona Media is located between 450 and 600 meters above the sea level. Red clay soil is dominated in this part. Wines are planted on the soft slopes and the wines showing are floral and fruity character. Zona Alta is situated in between 600 to 900 meters above the sea level, and this is the highest area of Campo de Borja, located on the foothills of beautiful Moncayo mountains. Wines from this area are mineral and really elegant in style. As I mentioned earlier, Campo de Borja is the empire of Garnacha. However, the other red grape varieties are also planted in this area. Garnacha Tinta represents 40.8% of all plantings. The second most important variety is Syrah with 18.7% of plantings, followed by Cabernet Sauvignon with 11.4%, Tempranillo with 10.7%, and Merlot represent 7.6% of whole plantings. There are also small amounts of other grape varieties, including Garnacha Tintonera, also known as Alicante Bouschet in Portugal, Caladoc, Marcellan, and Mazuela, also known as Carignan in France. Now let's move on to the white varieties of Campo de Borja, so stay tuned. The production of white wines in Campo de Borja is tiny compared to the red wines. However, some interesting white wines are also produced in this area. The most planted white variety is Chardonnay with nearly 4% of whole plantings, followed by Macabeo with 1.5% and Moscatel with 1.1%. There are also very small plantings of Garnacha Blanca, Verdejo, Viognier and Sauvignon Blanc, which was quite surprising for me. The most important fact about Campo de Borja, apart from skilled winemakers and phenomenal terroir, is the fact that nearly 40% of Garnacha vines planted in this area are between 30 to 50 years old. Did you know that the Regulatory Council of Campo de Borja is working on the project called Garnachas Históricas in order to protect the term old vines, but also highlights the uniqueness of old plots and old vines of Garnacha wines in the region. The very interesting fact about old wine is that, generally speaking, old wines produce less quantity juice, but better quality wine. This is why I wish you all the very best in Campo de Borja to finalize your project of Garnachas Históricas as soon as possible. As you already know, Campo de Borja is empire of Garnacha-based wines. However, in this area you can also find white wines, rosé, tiny amount of sparkling wines and also sweet wines produced from the Muscatel grape variety. Red wines represent 80% of the total production, white wines 8% and rosé wines around 6%. Sparkling and sweet wines are produced in microscopic amounts. By the way, if you are curious what are my favorite wines from this area, stay tuned. Something that really surprised me during the trip to Campo de Borja was the fact that in this region traditional method sparkling wines are also produced. I had a chance to try Bodegas Cabal Garnacha Rosado, which was absolutely fantastic and I highly recommend to try it. What's even more interesting, I also tasted cava produced by Monasterio de Veluela. Yes, cava it's produced in Campo de Borja. However, cava can be only made in one village called Ainzon and cannot be labeled as Campo de Borja, as cava and Campo de Borja are two separate appellations. Campo de Borja, like many other Spanish wine regions, has very specific regulations regarding aging their wines before their release to the market. The red wines labeled as Roble are aged for a minimum of 3 months, however the oak aging is not required. Crianza wines are aged for a minimum of 24 months with at least 6 months in oak barrels. Reserva wines has to be matured for a minimum of 36 months, including 12 months in oak barrels. And lastly, Gran Reserva wines are aged for a minimum of 60 months with at least 18 months in oak barrels before the wines are released to the market. By the way, the full list of aging regulations including the white wines, rosé wines and red wines can be found in the description below. The first wine is Bodega Palmeri Sicilia Navalta Skin Contact Garnacha Blanca 2018, best wine of the trip. Then Bodegas Morca Garnacha 2021, mineral and powerful. Then Bodegas Ruberte Selection Garnacha 2021, silky and floral. Next, Bodegas Gil Peyenaute Las Paradas Garnacha 2020, high altitude Mediterranean style Garnacha, amazing. And finally, Bodegas Pagos del Moncayo Parados Prive 2021, Syrah, earthy and concentrate. All these 5 wines were absolutely spectacular. The production of Campo de Borja is quite small if you compare to Rioja, for example. There are only 17 producers, including 14 small houses and 3 large cooperatives. In fact, nearly 90% of the total production is controlled by cooperatives, including 55% by Arragnesas, 35% by Borsao, and small amount 5% by Bodegas Ainzon. Wine cooperatives are part of the history of the region. In the 1950s, economic difficulties led the small groups of farmers to join together to found cooperatives, which today make up the majority of Denomination de Origen Campo de Borja wines. I have to say I was really impressed with the quality of Garnacha wine produced in the Campo de Borja. Thanks to fantastic terroir, old vines of Garnacha and phenomenal skills of the local winemakers, this region have definitely bright future. If you'd like to learn more about other Spanish wine regions, including Rueda or Rioja, click one of those icons. By the way, don't forget to subscribe and see you next time!